It is day 7 of me decluttering every single day until I feel less overwhelmed. So, let me first start by showing you the areas that I am aiming to tackle today. So, we have got the hallway where we have our shoes. We have a lot of coats, and you can see they kind of stick out quite far, and that really bugs me. Then on the stairs here, I have this storage basket where we have all of our hats and our gloves and our scarves and everything. And I'm finding that when the kids want something, they're just like taking everything out and it very quickly becomes a mess. And then ideally, if I get time, I would like to tackle some of this area under the stairs. There's some clothing here that I sorted out the other day, but I haven't decided like what is like being passed on to friends, what is going to the clothing recycle, etc. And then we also have some outdoor things here. We have like other shoes that are going to be passed down, and we have some DIY stuff. So I've set a timer here just for 10 minutes to tackle the shoes. And one of the things that I am doing here is just checking like seasonally, should everything be out? Or even if I'm not decluttering it, should it like go somewhere else just to create a bit more space? I tried very much here, as you can see, to put a pair of my trainers into this box, but it just wasn't going to budge. So I've been through my shoes and actually everyone's shoes fairly recently. So I don't have hopes of getting rid of too much here. One thing that I'm looking at here is my 4-year old's trainers. So he's got his school shoes, he's got trainers, and he's got winter boots. And his trainers, like the insoles, kind of like coming loose. So I thought if I peeled off like the fabric layer on them, he could wear them for a bit longer. But really, it got to the point where I thought, it's not going to work. I'm just going to have to get him some new trainers. My kids go through shoes so quickly. I feel like I'm buying new shoes every single month. My eldest needs new school shoes. He's worn through his school shoes, and my middle child needs new trainers. So, all good. It's fine. I'm looking at summer shoes for my youngest. I'm not 100% sure what she'll be in. Like, she may not fit in any of these shoes when we come to going on a warmer holiday. We've never been on a plane with our kids. They are ages 6, 4, and 2, but I have booked to go on a plane to Spain in May in the half term. And so it's not massively far away in the future. And I know that we're going to want sandals then. I just don't know if she'll be fitting in them, but I don't need that many. So I'm making a decision to part with some of those, like the kind of least practical ones. And then behind here, we have our umbrellas. And I know that these umbrellas of the kids are broken. And I've asked one of their aunties if they will replace their umbrellas as part of their Christmas present. So I know they're going to get new ones. And I didn't want to open, a wives' tale here. I don't want to open the umbrella fully inside. So it's really careful there. You might have noticed not to open the umbrella fully. But I didn't need to in order to assess that they really are very damaged and they can't be used at the moment. So those ones will have to go. And then I still had a few minutes left on the clock, so I reset it to tackle the coats. We have had, I think, as I've said, like we're really lucky. We get a lot of hand-me-downs. We've had quite a lot of hand-me-down coats for my 2-year-old, and she has 3 winter coats basically. And she does not need that many. Like one for nursery, one for best. That is enough. So I can easily part with one of those. Then I'm taking the Rain Max basically out, and I will pop those into our wardrobes upstairs so that they are not taking up valuable space downstairs. I want the ability, if someone was to come around, pop in for a cup of tea, they could hang their coat up without it like falling down or knocking other stuff down. We also have a damaged peg here, and I really need to buy a new hook because that will enable us to hang more up. This coat here is mine, and I've decided that I am going to part with this because the zip will no longer do up properly, so I can't do it up properly. And I've had it for a very long time, and I'm not reaching for it that much anymore in the warmer months. So Rain Mac, that's going to go. And I'm just checking the pockets of everything because 9 times out of 10, there's tissues and rubbish and random things in the pockets that I want to clear out. And checking this bag because I know I had it on the last day that I remember wearing my watch, which has been missing now for just over a week, and I still have not found it. I'm also checking my husband's pockets, and that's really because of the watch. Like, I just want to check everything. Checked in the shoes, I'm checking in pockets just to see that nobody, not one of us hasn't like picked it up and scooped it into a pocket and then forgotten about it. I've even checked the inside of this umbrella to make sure it hasn't fallen in there. My 2-year-old hasn't put it in. Now, I will say that I didn't think I would find that much stuff to declutter in my hallway. I knew that there would be a couple of things, sure, but I didn't think there would be that much rubbish. And I am finding so much like genuine rubbish just needs to go in the bin. There was a great big bit of somebody's car seat, which we had taken off under advice. Don't need it on the car seat, won't ever need it on the car seat. So why are we keeping it? Why is it in my hallway? But once I had removed it, I had space for a pair of boots of mine to sit. So now just hanging back up the coats, and I've suddenly realized, hang on a minute, this is a like kind of coat that we don't need because my 2-year-old is at nursery right now, wearing a coat, and then I have another coat, 2 coats. She doesn't need 3 coats. So that was an easy one to part with. Then after clearing things off the windowsill there, I'm tackling the hats and the gloves and the scarves. We've got baby mittens in there. We've got tiny hats from when my 2-year-old was like 6 months old, and she definitely can't fit her head in there now. And also some Christmas stuff. And I'm kind of sad. Look at this Christmas pudding hat and matching gloves. But it's too small for my youngest. We're not having any more babies. So I'm going to pass that on to a friend who has a younger baby. Now, Christmas stuff is taking up a bit of space here, and it won't be come January, but I want space in the areas that I'm clearing. I don't want things to just fit and still be like pushing at the seams. I want there to be space in cupboards, space in drawers, space in baskets, so that I do have room when I need to put something away, that I'm not fighting through stuff, so that kids can find what they need without fighting through stuff. So I was very tempted not to do anything under the stairs, but I definitely had the time to do it. I was trying to tell myself that the time it would take for me to sort the pile that I'm putting behind me into, rubbish, donate, etc., would mean that I couldn't do under the stairs. But I knew I could fit it in. And actually, I'll be honest with you, like I often don't film me actually removing the stuff that I've decided to clear from the house, out the house. It really didn't take me too long to do that today because so much of it was like pure rubbish. But just going through this clothing that I sorted out the other day, I know that I want to get rid of it out of the house, but I hadn't made a decision in terms of what I would sell. And I think in my head, I thought I will sell more things, but the reality is, I'm just not going to have time. So they're best off going to the charity shop so that someone can make use of them. Now, I already had one bag for the charity shop. I just got that other bag out, put those clothes straight in, put the bags together so I know what I'm taking to the charity shop on Thursday. And then I'm just tackling a few things like behind here, some broken toys, and then putting some wipes and some other bits away. So I do aim when there is something which obviously does not belong and I can put that away. I try and put it away like there and then. And if I'm honest, I definitely could have got rid of more bags here, but I just didn't have, by this point, I think I was struggling with the mental capacity. Like, what am I keeping? What am I getting rid of? So, when we originally had our house extended, which was around 4 years ago now, I had asked that this bit under the stairs be like kitted out into proper like pull out drawers, and that it had some hanging space as well, because what I envisaged was that all of my kids would have their own like cubby hole. They would have their shoes in one, they would have their school bags hung up in the other or in a cubby hole, they would have pegs for their coats that they could reach. And it was really important to me that they have the ability to get home from school and nursery, take their shoes off, put them straight away, put their bag away, hang their coat up. But unfortunately, our builders were unable to help us with that. And the carpenter who did the work on our house sadly passed away. And then I found it very difficult to get somebody in to do like what is considered, I guess, smaller jobs, when they're not doing like a big build, but picking up a project piece. And you can get companies who will do like bespoke kind of pull out cupboards, but I want something which is quite different here. And we ended up just buying these Kallax units and putting our stuff in there, but they are definitely not the best solution. And what happens now is the kids come home from school and nursery, they kick their shoes off by the front door, they throw their coats on the floor, and they just drop their bags. And it is endlessly frustrating, but also they cannot reach their coat pegs. They definitely can put their shoes away, but they cannot reach their coat pegs. And I'd love for them to be able to do everything themselves and not to be relying on me to hang up a coat. So just going through these other boxes here, and I want to make sure that I have basically all of the outside stuff, the swing chair and the cushions that go with that, all in one tote box. But there are lots of random things in this tote box that I would not think to look for in that location. And that's something that I'm trying to think about. Would I look for this thing? So maybe I want to keep the item, but if I need it in the future, would I look there for it? And if the answer is no, then moving it to where I would look. And that might be just in this case, a different box, or it might be in a different part of the house. So by this point in the declutter, I have definitely lost energy. I have been going for a little while, not masses of time. I want to say somewhere around about 25 minutes. But I have picked up a cold, which you might be able to hear. I picked up a cold for my kids and I'm feeling a bit grotty and I could feel it by this point. So rather than push through and end up like resenting the process, I decided that I would just do what I could with the first box of DIY things. So I'm looking in there at things like that I totally forgotten about, that I wouldn't look for, or my first instinct would be to like Amazon it, or in this case with the filler, like it's been open for so long that it has gone hard. So getting rid of that. I had a lot of filler and cork in this box, so I won't need to buy any more of that for some time now. One thing that really stumped me during this process is extension leads. So I had three extension leads of varying lengths, and then one of them had individual switches for each plug socket. And I have also got a much bigger, like wind in extension lead, which sits in our shed, and we use that when we are mowing our lawn. Now, I cannot tell you the last time I needed an extension lead. I have not looked for one in a long time. I think I would have known to look in that location, but I haven't looked for one. And one thing I kept coming back to here is like, I know that I don't need three extension leads in my house. And the one that I didn't like most was actually the one with the individual switches and the plug sockets. And I kind of know that that is a better one, but I tested out the switches and they weren't working terribly well. So I'm going to get rid of that. But interestingly, you can't just chuck them in the bin. I looked this up on Google and you have to put it in a specialist like wires and electronics section of a recycle center. But we do have a recycle center nearby, so I can definitely do that. But actually, I think I will also post it on our local freebie group and just check no one wants it. But here is all the stuff that I got rid of, which was actually loads and more than I thought. And here's the coat section now, and you can see everything is hanging way better. It looks much better. I would say that the hats and gloves look a bit better, and all this stuff on the stairs is like rain mats that will go into our wardrobes upstairs. We don't need them down here. And this area under the stairs looks so much better now that I've sorted out that pile of clothing. I know that I'm only going to be selling a few items, and then I have a bunch of other stuff to pass on to other people. But just look at all that stuff. I'm so pleased. I will see you tomorrow. Bye.